Here.
Alderman Woods,
Here.
Mayor Police.
Here, quorum present, please stand and join in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Need a motion to approve the minutes of Council of May 16, 2013.
I'll make the motion.
Do I have a second? Second. Corrections? Alderman Jacob?
Yeah, there was a correction on the, when we appointed the one person, it said all said yes, and I believe Eugene
Could
said
you
no.
tell me the number, please?
Let me see. It is,
Mayor's report.
yeah, the mayor's report.
Okay, I believe there was an abstention as well, right?
Correct, I abstain.
Okay.
Which one, is this the William Milano appointment?
Yeah, the William Milano.
Okay, and that was supposed to be what?
Alderman Eugene Wesley was no. Alderman Woods was abstain. And did you also abstain, Mr. Wesley? And Roy Wesley abstained.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Any other corrections? Roll call.
Alderman Catalano?
Yes.
Alderman Jacob?
Yes.
Alderman Lazara?
Yes.
Alderman Sismarski?
Yes.
Alderman E. Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman R. Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman Winger?
Yes.
Alderman Woods?
Yes.
That passes.
Mr. Mayor, can I have a point of order?
Oh, yes, I heard you want to make a statement. Go ahead.
Point of order, that appointment that we have made on the last council meeting would have to come back to this council for approval because it was not listed on the agenda, so it would have to go through, back on the agenda on June, whatever, 2nd. Because it has to be on the agenda.
Actually, the attorney called me today, and he said, because it was not listed on the agenda, he looked into it. At the time, he thought it was fine, but he did look at Maria. Maybe you want to speak. Maybe he told you already.
The appointment of Mr. Milano will be returning to the board for approval. It will be listed as an agenda item as it is an appointment of the mayor that requires the advice and consent of the city council. Until such time as that comes back to the council, Mr. Milano, notwithstanding the fact that the minutes say he was appointed, is not appointed, he will be appointed at the next meeting, or to the extent his name is put forward and the council approves it.
Did it?
That's it.
Thank you. Communications and petitions. Do any citizens wish to be heard on matters not listed on the agenda? I have no, Mr. Wesley?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a comment on one of our employees that have left, the retired. Ellen Young from the Public Works that has dedicated 15 years of service in our Public Works division. She has retired from our division, and I just want to commend her for the 15 years that she has done with the city. I'm working with her in the Public Works division, and in my behalf, I would like to thank her for her years of service with us. So I just want to make that statement. She is the one that took care of the dial ride service, took care of all the phone calls for the streets department and further on. So I'd like to thank her for her years of service. Thank you.
Thank you, Ellie Younger. Yes, he did. One written communique, Calvary Lutheran Church is having a rummage sale this Friday and Saturday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. That's 107 North Wooddale Road, Calvary Lutheran Church. Next, under Mayor's report, Oklahoma tornado disaster relief donation. Somebody want to make a donation request? Alderman Lazara?
Yes, Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to give the Oklahoma tornado disaster relief $500 donation from the city of Wooddale. That is my motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Question.
Oh. Go ahead. Alderman Wesley? Alderman Roy Wesley, go ahead.
The organization it's going to, has it been checked out? Because you hear, pardon me?
Red Cross.
Okay,
That's fine.
thank you.
The money is going to American
American
Red
Red
Cross,
Cross.
and we did double check them.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Next, Eagle Scout proclamation.
Oh, delete.
Turning them out.
I'd like to call Mr. Philip Espinoza to the podium. How are you? Good. Before I read the proclamation, maybe you want to tell us about your project? You're right here, step on.
Okay, so for my Eagle project, I rebuilt the retaining wall on the east side of Holy Ghost Church because it was in very bad shape, to say the least. In order to do that, I went up to the church community. I stood in front of them and asked them for donations, which I generously got. It was quite amazing how much money they were able to raise. And then I went on to buy my own supplies, transport it, and get the guys together in order to build up the wall.
Oh.
That was about it.
And it looks very good. Okay. Whereas the Boy Scouts of America is a vital force in the development of our youth through its many programs which encourage the ability of its members to do things for themselves and especially for others, and whereas one of the major objectives in the Scouting program is to develop citizenship through community involvement, and in addition to working for citizenship merit badges, Scouts are encouraged to participate in community service projects, and whereas Philip T. Espinoza is a member of Boy Scouts of America and has not only proven himself to be an outstanding member, but has attained the highest honor bestowed on a Scout, the Eagle Scout Award. Whereas the Eagle Scout Award is a distinction that will follow him throughout life and will be a beacon to others of the leadership quality and commitment this young man has shown. Now therefore, I, Mayor Annunziato, recognize Philip T. Espinoza as worthy of this highest honor and encourage him to continue his commitment to excellence. Thank you very much. Congratulations. And actually, that concludes my report, Mr. Manager.
Just two items, Mr. Mayor. First, I want to remind residents the city's annual farmers market starts a week from this Saturday on June 15th from 3 to 7. It is in a new location this year, the remote Metro lot, which is just north of Front Street, adjacent just east of the intersection of Wooddale Road and Irving. So we encourage everybody to come out to that. Second item, there's a Stormwater Committee has worked diligently on a flood information survey form over the years. This has recently been updated. It's currently on the projector screen right there. So this is in kind of in addition to a FEMA form, which would have to be filled out by residents, but this helps the city gather information for those residents who do flood to help submit any documentation to FEMA. And that form is available on the website. And the city does send out reverse 911s to those residents we know have flooding issues. So they're encouraged to fill out that form, and we do document those forms. So we thank the Stormwater Commission for working hard on getting this information out to our residents. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Alderman Wesley, you had a hand up?
Yeah, on that form, when we had a flooding, a month ago, 2 months ago, was this form activated in the Royal Oaks neighborhood and all the other areas that was flooded, the houses took in? Can anyone answer me that question? Because if we had this form for almost a year, and we only go to the flooded areas like Edgewood and all that, what about the Royal Oaks? What about Windsor? What about them? Did those people receive this letter for we could start documenting those? Could someone answer me that
Mr.
question?
Manager.
I know typically, Greg, you were going over some of the FEMA notifications. Maybe if you want to give the council a little bit of an update or a rundown on how that's happened recently.
Thanks. When any flooding event like that happens, what we're asked to do is compile some basic information that we would forward on to the county, that then they would collect to get an overall snapshot of what kind of damage was sustained both by municipalities and also by residents in the county. So we sought out a lot of that information and passed on anyone we were aware of that had flooding in the county. Based on that, then the county applied through the state, and the state eventually did get a disaster declaration from the feds. And since then, we've publicized how residents can apply for further disaster aid, including some reverse 911s. But the bottom line is, even if we were aware of them having flooding before, they still have to go through FEMA and contact FEMA for that. If there was, let's just say there was 10 houses that flooded and we only knew of one of them, it doesn't mean the other 9 still aren't eligible for aid. It's just county initially collects a snapshot of what's going on in the county, and that's what we provided to them. Similar to what we did in 08 when we had massive flooding, there was a lot more houses flooded. We were able to provide them even more residences back then. So we just try and provide a snapshot to them. And then on the website, the city sign, reverse 911s, everywhere we try and get the word out to people that they might be eligible for disaster assistance.
Mr. Mayor, can I do a follow-up with that?
Go ahead.
My question is, and you answer it quite frankly to me. My question is, in that last rainstorm I did tour the community, there was areas that never took water before and all that. My question is, how do we document that on the city level? If they need FEMA help, how do we have our file saying, yes, it is legit that these people did take water on and all that? I'm talking about, let's look at Mr. Mayor, you can vouch for this, that guy on Windsor by you. That guy almost took on more water. I mean, I thought the guy was going to have a heart attack out there because it was being almost flooded out. We still don't have any documentation of all these other houses in the whole community that has taken water. And that was a whole designation of this form, whoever gets water, that we know where we employed our sandbags. We knew where all our sandbags were employed. All those residents should have got a mail in out of this survey or this questionnaire and say, yes or no, I took on water, for we have a documentation on our level. Because if FEMA comes back and say, well, wait a minute here, we don't qualify because we don't have this, but we gave those other people in our community the opportunity that flooded out to be recognized to try to get low interest loans or whatever it may happen. Right now, we don't have that option. This is a tool for us as a city level. You look at county, it seems like the county only looks at the Sauk Creek County boundary line. That's what I'm looking at. The point is, if an area goes underwater, regardless wherever we employ sandbags, those questionnaires, those surveys should go out to that area. Bottom line. So we need to make sure we update that, and whoever floods out in that area where we launch sandbags, that whole area should get this survey for we can keep track of that.
I do have kind of 2 parts to that I'm aware of. Maybe the city manager has some more, but number one, I know as part of the citywide flood drainage study, there was an outreach made to a lot of residents as far as collecting some of this information. Second part is, I know I personally talked to the Red Cross we showed them everywhere that we had street flooding during that April event, streets that were closed, residences that we knew took on flooding from, water that was collecting in Woodside, all over town, and we passed that on, and they went around to some of the residences too. I mean, I guess short of sending this to every resident, because it could be one on one block, we're never going to know 100% of them, short of, I know when we send out community surveys on our performance as a PD, out of 5,000, we usually only get about 100 back. So part of it is citizen involvement, and we try and get that information out to them, but sometimes there's not response on that side either. So
Anything further? Okay. Oh, Mr. Alderman Lazar, go ahead.
Jeff, would this be possible to send with our water bill copies of this?
Mr. Murmas.
I would defer to Brad. I don't see why not, but
Follow up, go ahead.
Yeah, because I think it would be a good idea for people to at least have this for their files, or even to be aware that it's there, because a lot of people are saying they don't have cable, they don't have internet connection, so the only way that they really do communicate a lot is through mail. So if we can do this, if we can send this with all our water bills, that would be, I think, a great help to our citizens.
we can definitely do that. We will do it this summer for sure, 100%.
Thank you. Next, consent agenda. I'll entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second? Any corrections? Roll call, please.
Alderman Catalano?
Yes.
Alderman Jacob?
Yes.
Alderman Lazar?
Yes.
Alderman Zagorski?
Yes.
Alderman Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman R. Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman Winger?
Yes.
Alderman Woods?
Yes.
That passes. Next, I'll entertain a motion to approve the items on the agenda. Item number 1, an ordinance of the City of Wooddale, DuPage County, Illinois, ascertaining the prevailing rate of wages, for laborers, mechanics, and other workers employed on public works for the City of Wooddale. Item number 2, a resolution seeking to approve an agreement between the City of Wooddale and Institute Forum Technologies USA LLC for the sanitary sewer system rehabilitation project, year 1, $323,925. Item number 3, approval of vehicle purchase number 401 in a not-to-exceed amount of $30,615.60. Approval of vehicle purchase number 418 in the not-to-exceed amount of $21,701. Item number 5, approval of partial pay request number 2 to R.J. O'Neill for the North Water Waste Treatment Plant, energy efficiency improvements project in the not-to-exceed amount of $169,207.20. Item number 6, approval of final pay request to Thorn Electric Incorporated for the Salt Creek Ornamental Lighting Project in the not-to-exceed amount of $23,295.53. Item number 7, approval of the NOAA flood monitoring system items 1, 2, 3, and 6 in the not-to-exceed amount of $15,600. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Do I have a second?
Second?
Roll call?
Alderman Catalano?
Yes.
Alderman Jacob?
Yes.
Alderman Lazara?
Yes.
Alderman Zazmarsky?
Yes.
Alderman E. Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman R. Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman Winger?
Yes.
Alderman Woods?
Yes.
That passes. Next, committee chairman reports, planning and zoning, Alderman Woods.
No report, Mayor.
Thank you. Public health and safety, Alderman Roy Wesley.
No report.
Thank you. Public works, Alderman Lazara.
I have one for approval, Mayor.
Go ahead.
Approval of partial pay request number 12 to Maxim Construction Corp. for the North WWTP upgrades Phase 1A project in the not-to-exceed amount of $700,254.97. That is my motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Questions? Alderman Roy Wesley.
You just mentioned upgrades there. Do we have a report of where we stand on this sewer treatment plant, of where the upgrades and stuff like that now? Because you just put $700,000 on upgrades.
We do. We have that report.
No, he's looking for something else. This isn't,
This is a bill that they.
this is a bill for the treatment plant. I think you're referring to some of the add-ons.
Well, you said upgrades, that's why.
Well, that's, the treatment plant is an upgrade.
They're calling the whole project an upgrade. Okay, all right.
Yeah, and actually, I believe them. Want to make a comment on that, Jeff?
There was just going to be, like usual, there'll be a report on the wastewater treatment plant in the packet. This Friday, we'll give a little bit more detail of the report.
Any other question on that? Roll call.
Alderman Catalano?
Yes.
Alderman Jacob?
Yes.
Alderman Lazara? Yes. Alderman Sizmarsky?
Yes.
Alderman E. Wesley?
No.
Pardon me?
No.
No.
Thank you. Alderman R. Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman Winger?
Yes.
Alderman Woods?
Yes.
That passes. And that concludes your report, correct?
Yes, that includes my report.
Thank you. Finance and Administration, Alderman Sismarski.
Mr. Mayor, I'm going to defer to Chief Vesta for one.
Chief, go ahead.
There was just one point on one of the vehicles that's listed on there. The Daewoo that's on the bottom, it was a drug seizure. In talking with the state police, we need to handle that one a little bit different because it wasn't an Article 36 seizure. So we're looking to remove that from being sold by the city, and actually the state police is looking to dispose of that vehicle. They're going to take it under their control. So it's just a procedural issue, and that's so we need to have the state do it. Otherwise, we need to hold on to it for another year before we would do anything with it.
Alderman Wesley?
Does the state take a commission of it when it's sold then?
Yes, they do.
How much of a commission?
We will get 65% of the purchase price.
So it always has to go to the state police? We can't?
Go ahead, Chief.
It depends on the type of seizure. This vehicle and what it was used for, it's going to have to go through the state police. Otherwise, what we would have to do is take it under our control for a year, use it for certain purposes, and then sell it after a year. It's not really in workable condition that we can use it for a year for our drug enforcement purposes.
Anything further?
I think it's a good undercover car, but that's okay.
Alderman Wesley, E. Wesley? Do you have a
Mr.
question
Mayor-
on the same thing?
Yeah, I have no problem in doing this, but I hope our conversation that we had on committee meeting, that we looked at possible doing something else with this sales of vehicles that we had a conversation on in our last committee meeting. I mean, I have no problem proving this since this is already done. But I believe we had a lengthy conversation about vehicle being out for auction. I believe it was last committee meeting. So
Mr.
I
Members.
hope that we
Yeah.
talk about that.
That's correct. I spoke to Finance Director Wilson. He's going to incorporate that into the budget and itemize a list of these auction items.
No.
I don't think that's what he's.
That ain't the
You're talking
conversation. My
about
conversation
us
was that
putting it out
we
to
have
auction.
we have the option to sell them outright instead of going right to the auction with it. That was the conversation that was here, that maybe these vehicles, instead of going right to the auction, that our citizens in this community should be able to do a sealed bid, like Itasca does, I believe the mayor brought that up. They did a sealed bid for these vehicles, and that's what the sealed bid is. Or anyone up here, or it's the same thing with our laptops and everything else. We send an email out to our employees and say, hey, this is available. Let's see if the interest in a sealed bid. That was what I was looking at. I'm not looking at a long debate on this, but I hope we discuss that at the next committee.
Mr. Murmas?
Yeah, the other list, the aforementioned list that I mentioned, we are working on that, and your idea as well was being talked about.
Alderman Sismarski?
We have to go through legal on the sale of the vehicle, so the city's not held responsible for anything after the sale of that vehicle to a private resident, or?
Ms. Dixon?
If we were going to be selling it on our own, we'd want to make sure that the term of the sale would be that there would be no liability and the product was being sold as is, with no warranty of use or habitability or warranty at all.
Because the last thing I want is someone coming back saying, you sold me a
Right.
lemon, and
Right.
we get stuck with the lemon law, so.
Alderman Sismarski, were you making a motion with the exception of that one vehicle?
Yes.
Second.
What?
Who's the second?
I'll second the motion.
Okay.
Thank you.
Alderman Eugene Wesley. Any other questions? Roll call.
Alderman Catalano?
Yes.
Alderman Jacob?
Yes.
Alderman Lazara?
Yes.
Alderman Sizmarsky?
Yes.
Alderman E. Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman R. Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman Winger?
Yes.
Alderman Woods?
Yes.
That passes. That concludes your report?
And also the ordinance authorizing the sale of personal.
That's it.
Oh, that wasn't, I'm sorry, that's right.
Nick?
Yes, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Under other business, Need a motion for resolution authorizing to execute certain labor agreement between the City of Wooddale and the International Union of Operating Engineers, Local 150. Do I have a
I'll make the
motion?
motion. Second.
Any questions? Alderman Wesley?
One question. So they voted on this already? It's signed, sealed, delivered?
Mr. Murmas?
That is accurate.
Okay, so they just need our approval? Okay. Thank you.
Roll call.
Alderman Catalano?
Yes.
Alderman Jacob?
Yes.
Alderman Lazara? Yes. Alderman Sizmarsky?
Yes.
Alderman E. Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman R. Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman Winger?
Yes.
Alderman Woods?
Yes.
That passes. Next, approval list of bills, June 6th. Alderman Sismarski?
Is there a list of bills for amounting $1,617,847.72?
Wait. What was that? 600?
617.
$1,617,800.
684.
84.
I've got it's a revised,
Yep.
Give us
that's
a-
right, it's a revised, I'm sorry, there was a revision on that. I'll defer to Brad,
Oh, Mr. Wilson.
Mr. Wilson. Yeah, I had,
Oh, okay, Mr. Wilson, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, through our final proofing process between ourselves and the Finance Department and the Public Works Department, we noticed that an invoice to Baxter Woodman was miskeyed to the tune of a little over $66,000. So we wanted to bring that down to what we should be paying them, and that revised amount is what Alderman Sismarski has there.
Can we have the new?
What's
I
that
do
new?
it.
What's the new revised
New
amount?
revised, is the $1,684,376.
No, wait,
Oh, no,
that's the old one.
The new one is this one, the one I read, correct?
No. Oh, that's,
That's the one I read. The corrected amount is $1,617,843.72.
Brad?
Is that your motion?
That is
Wait a
my
minute,
motion.
Mayor. Can I have the,
question.
the amount
Yeah, we will.
for the water
I
and
gotta get a
sewer
second.
fund, the new amount?
Water and sewer fund, $288,471.31.
I thought that was changing. That's what Brad told me.
The sheet that I gave a couple of you before the meeting had all the corrected
So
information on
this
it.
is all the correct?
Correct.
Okay, because I put down change.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, that's corrected.
Thank you.
Yeah, this.
All right, do I have a second before I go to questions?
Second.
Alderman Eugene Wesley,
Mr. Mayor,
go ahead.
on my dais tonight, dated June 6, 2013, it was revised agenda. It's sitting right here.
Right, I have the same thing.
I have a dollar amount of $1,684, $1,684,376.
Here, here.
Yeah, all right. $1,684,376.72. Now I just heard another number without a revised agenda. So I'm a little confused right now with passing the list of bills because I don't know what numbers I'm voting on.
Well,
Mr. Wilson, is the only amount that was changed was the Baxter and Woodman amount? Is that correct?
the water and sewer fund.
Water and sewer fund. Check here.
Go ahead.
Mr. Mayor. Yeah, this is, I mean, we've done this probably 3 or 4 times in the past where it's been such a significant amount that we did not want you guys to pass the higher amount. Because if you pass the higher amount, then that would have still authorized us to have paid that amount out. So we wanted the council to pass the revised number so as to not leave the city open to any exposure to anybody trying to claim that extra money versus what we should have paid and what we actually paid out. So, and the revised agenda issue, it's 48 hours ahead of time, which is Tuesday, and it was caught after Tuesday, so we unfortunately didn't have time to revise the agenda before tonight, so.
I think what Alderman Wesley was trying to say is we at least could have received the revised one here on the dais instead of receiving a revised, Mr. Manager.
Technically, you can't revise the agenda. Mary, you can just speak to that.
Dixon?
The agenda, as has been posted in accordance with the Open Meetings Act, sets forth that the City Council is going to consider as an action item an approval of list of bills The amount of the list of bills is listed on the agenda. That amount could be approved for payment tonight, but as Mr. Wilson states, an error in that payment amount was noted by staff, and they're asking that that approval of list of bills be granted with a lower amount, an amended amount in the amount that he stated earlier, which was $1,617,000 or $847.72. If the council so chooses, the council can approve the list of bills in the amended amount as provided by Mr. Wilson this evening, based on his explanation as to why that amount has been decreased.
Alderman Woods, go ahead. You had a question on the same matter.
A couple now, actually. As far as the revised agenda, I understand what the city attorney said, but some people have a piece of paper with the revised numbers, which would have made it easier for us to look at. And instead, my question is, obviously, we answered the first one, that it changed from $1,684,376.72 to $617,843.72. And that was because of a line item. Are those line items in the billing that we're looking at, have those also been changed? In this, you're saying that Baxter and Woodman's bill was changed. Which one in the list of, not the list of bills, but the...
You know, as a correction, he's not saying their bill changed. The bill was coded incorrectly, and so their bill was stated accurately. You might want to explain that so that it doesn't look like, unless Baxter and Woodman changed their bill, it sounded to me like it was a correction of the city accounts.
Mr. Wilson.
Correct. Baxter Women's bill did not change. If you go to page 3 of the list of bills packet that you have, the second item down, pre-treatment assistance, and then the project number listed on there for $73,921.59. That one should really be $7,392.59.
Thank you, because that'll help my head from not spinning, because I was going to question that bill for...
Certainly, and in the future, if it makes it easier for everybody, we can write up something for everybody on the dais. In the past couple of times, we've just done it to a couple of people, but we can certainly broaden that out in the future if that's easier for everybody.
Okay,
that would help.
Thank you. Alderman Wesley, you had another question?
No, that's what I'm just saying. I mean, why should one alderman get copies of a bill amendment, and I have no clue.
That'll be corrected for next time.
Well, I have a few questions.
Alderman Woods, go ahead. You had your hand up.
Well, since we're on the same thing, because my question was going to be on the bills from Baxter and Woodman for the pre-treatment. I know they've been doing this for a while, and the bills, you know, they're numerous, and it's getting to be a substantial amount of money, although it's better now that we reduced to $73,000 to $7,000. Can we look into somebody else taking over that service, or can we get a better rate? My understanding is that should be something that's going down the bills in nature as opposed to going up, and they seem like they're going up.
Mr. Murmish?
Yes.
Thank you.
Alderman Wesley, you had more questions?
Well, I have a few. On page number 3, Silva Tech Engineer for $8,303.54. Someone wants to answer that one? What they do?
Page number 3.
3.
Who's going to take that? Mr. Gallish?
If you're commenting on $8,303.54, that's general civil engineering from Baxter and Woodman.
Oh, it ain't Baxter and Woodman?
No, it is Baxter and Woodman.
So
and
it's
it
a
is
different contractor, or?
No, it's Baxter and Woodman's general services to the city.
All right, so that's the one in-house? I mean, okay. May I continue, Mayor?
Yes, go ahead.
On page number 3, I also have the $9,904.07 for a sidewalk on Addison Road. What sidewalk is $9,000?
Mr. Gallis, go ahead.
That is the services that Baxter and Woodman has been providing over the course of the last few months on Addison Road to help work through some issues with Forest Preserve. And there's also still some design effort that was being cleaned up as part of this bill.
So,
You have a follow-up? Go ahead.
so I'm paying a bill for sidewalk on Addison Road, which I have no clue if that sidewalk's ever going to be installed. I mean, why are we paying a bill now when we don't even know where the status of that sidewalk is? I have not seen a status, and maybe I missed it in my memos here. What's the status on that sidewalk?
Ms. Dixon?
The city has been discussing the possibility with the Forest Preserve of either constructing that sidewalk segment through, originally it was through an easement agreement with the Forest Preserve, and that's evolved through discussions with the Forest Preserve into maybe doing a land conveyance whereby the city would secure the land that the sidewalk would be placed on, and in exchange, the Forest Preserve would secure ownership of a property that the city of Wooddale had acquired for flood purposes. That is an ongoing conversation. I know Mr. Gallus is working with staff, with the Forest Preserve, and with our engineer to determine the appropriateness of the construction of the sidewalk in the area in which we hope to place it.
You have a follow-up to that? Go
Yeah,
ahead.
but on that sidewalk, I thought the county was going to pay for that sidewalk and pay for that bill. I thought the council, that the county agreed that they have money that they were going to put that sidewalk in. But keep in mind, that's, and believe me, I know it's a safety issue. I have no problem doing it. But I thought the county, that I got a call from a county member and saying, we will put that sidewalk in. So why am I paying $9,000?
Murmas?
You're 100% correct. I also talked to that county member. They indicated that they'd be paying for construction costs, participating in that, no engineering costs.
Follow-up?
No.
Okay. You said you had another question?
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
Page number 5, Clark Mosquito. I have 2 bills here. I have one for $2,325. I have another one for $9,288.18. I noticed the one was for the detention basin that we own. Am I correct?
Mr. Gallus?
Okay. So
Go ahead.
what do we do to that detention basin? Spray it or what?
Mr. Gallus?
Yes, there's an algal problem in a couple of basins, so that was for one of those services.
Okay, what about the $9,288.18?
Mr. Gallus?
That will begin their gypsy moth spraying.
So, wait a minute, let's back up here
Go
now.
ahead.
So, we are going to prepay a company $9,000 and $288.18. We're going to prepay a company to do this work. You just said that.
No, I may have misspoke.
Mr.
I
Gallus.
thought it was gypsy moth, but maybe I need to double check. But
So you
no,
don't
we're
know?
not prepaying. I'm not certain.
Okay.
So I'll get back to you with a certain name.
So then, Mr. Mayor, I will ask that the $9,288.18 bill be removed off the list of bills until we got the right direction on what that is about.
$9,288.
This invoice days from 4/25/13 though.
Okay, so I would ask that that be removed.
Alderman Woods, you have something on that same topic?
Well, I was gonna question, because they're talking moths, and this is mosquitoes, it's like, can't we
That's
code
what
the
I'm
thing
saying.
properly? Do we, I
Mr.
mean, can't we answer this question today?
Yes, we
Mr.
can
Gallus,
answer it
go
right
ahead.
now. I have the bill here.
And then I take it that was for services already rendered, right? Part of the contract?
Correct. Sorry for misspeaking, Mayor.
No problem.
It's a management service.
Environmental management services.
So, I mean, what do they do for it? It's management services. I mean, did they spray? Did they put gypsy? Did they put the chips in the sewer? I mean, that invoice don't say exactly what they did.
Mr. Gallus?
That's part of their contract. There's a number of different things that they do, and so one of the services that, as part of their overall quote to us, is to provide management services, which is the inspection, which is setting out traps, which is looking at troubled areas, and just managing the overall program. Been charged year in and year out.
Right. So maybe we can get them to make their,
Minimize.
And next week, they'll be here for a presentation, so
Oh,
we can
the
offer some
gentleman from
more
Clark.
information if
The-
that would help please the alderman.
okay.
Okay. Mayor?
Hold on one second.
We have a motion to remove that. Are you going to withdraw the motion?
Are you going to withdraw the motion to remove, or you?
No, I really like to see their printout on what that service is. I want them, give me a breakdown.
Okay.
Because it's only fair, if we paying, as taxpayers in this community, we should know exactly what that contract and what they have done for $9,000 instead of contract services.
You want an itemized list?
I want to itemize this. It ain't that hard.
All right, so we're going to remove both?
No, I'll agree to remove only the $288.18 bill.
It was 42 cents.
Or
No, 18 cents.
18 cents.
18 cents.
Yeah. Alderman Winger, you had something on that?
Yes, thank you. So per the contract, they are allowed to charge for their contractual services of management. And that's it, and that's how the invoice is stated, is that correct? It's the management
Gillis.
services
That's correct.
per the contract.
Yes.
And you've looked at what the contract allows for, and they're billing accordingly.
Yes. That's a common, that's what happened last year. I'm sure that happened in previous years as well.
And how many other charges like this are going to happen this summer? Or roughly how many?
Mr. Gillis?
Service for 3 different sprays. So there's a lump sum cost that they will bill us
Yeah.
every time they come out and do their spray.
Okay,
Then there's some work that they'll do at our festivals.
yeah.
And then there's a unit price for them to charge according to that as well.
Okay, but this fee is like a one annual fee per the contract.
Correct. That's to set up the program and do the evaluations that I highlighted earlier.
So there's no reason to pull this out of the list of bills, that it's per the contract, it's the one-time annual, it's been checked out by our Public Works Director. I see no reason to remove it from the list of bills.
Mr. Mayor?
Go ahead. We have a motion.
I like to bicker about that because the simple reason is, even though it's part of service, so anyone that comes in with a contract saying this is part of service, until the city council see what the actual breakdown of the service is, we're going to pay a bill that, yeah, anyone could give me an invoice and say this is service, violating the contract. I would think that it would be like anyone else that comes forward with a contract saying this is a service, this is for this is for spraying, this is for this is for putting the drops in, but not a $9,000 dust of service contract. But what do they do for that service? So I've stayed my grounds, and it's still take the bill out until we get an itemized list on what they did for that. Would you like to have a bill thrown to you that this contract services?
Basically, we're looking for itemized bill. I don't know if what Clark did in the past. I know we have a new rep now.
He's coming next week.
It might be defining the
Yeah, but
Go ahead, Alderman Winger, follow
along
up.
those lines, that would be my argument, is that it's spelled out in the contract of what they're gonna deliver for that charge. So each time we review a bill, we don't ask for each contract to come back up again. It's part of the city documents, ordinances, so this is a valid bill, and I see no reason to hold it back. Thank you.
Alderman Woods?
Yeah, my question is, if I accept the 9,000 and I have no reason not to, is the other bill, because both of these are written on the same date, you know, one's for aquatic services, one's for environmental mosquito management. So let's say that, you know, the 9,288 is for management based on their contract. My question is the other $2,325, is that part and parcel of the contract, or is that something outside the contract? And if it was,
That's what I
why?
wonder.
Mr. Gillis?
I believe it was a service that was offered by another division of their firm. I don't know that for certain. That was just my belief. I don't have that contract here in front of me tonight.
And I appreciate that. I mean, that's where the question's coming in. I don't think anybody's questioning that you guys are writing checks, because otherwise I'd be in line myself. But, you know, I think we just need to see a little more information in the future. Thank you.
Then I would ask to get a copy of the contract before I could verify that then.
So do we want to follow up with the second on that motion, or the
Do a
general?
roll call. do a roll call.
Itemize the list.
Well, first of all, we need a second on that motion. Did you want to make a comment, Ms. Dixon?
I believe our records don't indicate that there's a second on the motion that Alderman Wesley made to remove the bill in the amount of $9,288.18 from the list of bills to be approved. If, we need a second on that, if there is a second.
Alderman Roy Wesley?
You know, he was talking about aquatics just a moment ago, too. But you weren't sure on that question about aquatics. So in that case, I'll add to your motion, but the professional services was for 2,000 something too, for aquatics.
$2,325.
Basin.
Right. But he doesn't know if that was originally in the contract.
Mr. Gallus?
I do not know that.
So until we get that information, I'll add the 2,000, and if
I agree.
the motioner agrees to that. So
I'll change
second.
that motion, then we will also remove the $2,325.00 until we actually find out what the breakdown of this is. So we don't even know if that quad thing was approved, I mean, in our contract. So until we get an itemized list, I'll vote no for the list of bills due to the fact that's in there until we have a motion.
But you have a motion?
Yes,
You,
I have a
and
second.
you seconded Alderman Roy Wesley?
Yeah, so the total would be, I'll just say Clark Mosquitoes.
Well, it's 13, 10, 11, 3, 6.
The total amount is $1,606,000.
No, but it's $11,613.18.
Bills after that minus.
All right, we have a motion and a second to remove a bill. So we should take a roll
Those two bills.
Two
yes.
bills.
Those two bills. I need a roll call
Alderman Catalano?
to remove.
Mayor, you want a
Another
total of
question?
All right.
the new total of listed
Well, no,
bills
no, we're-
minus those two?
No, first, this motion has to pass before we total anything.
Okay. Should we explain the motion again?
The motion is to remove these two bills.
Okay. Alderman Catalano?
No.
Alderman Jacob?
Yes.
Alderman Lazara?
Yes.
Alderman Sizmarsky?
Yes.
Alderman E. Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman R. Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman Winger?
No.
Alderman Woods?
Yes.
Yes.
We remove those two bills. Okay, before we go further on the total, you had another question?
Yeah, I got a couple more.
Go ahead.
I have the streetlight replacement of page 8. Streetlights replacement of $6,931.95. Could you tell me what street, were those the ones involved in a wreck, or what? was
Mr.
the-
Gallus.
Yeah, it was involved in a wreck. It was destroyed and replaced and will be compensated for the damage that was done.
And that was a two that were hit, or one?
I believe it was only one.
Okay.
Another one?
Page number 9, LED lights for $36,203. Is that the final payment for the LED lights on page 9?
Yes.
Mr. Gallus.
Okay. On the same page, Mayor?
Go ahead.
I'd like to know how many chairs are for $1,900 for the city?
Who's this?
19
The chief, is this yours?
That was the city manager's chair.
Yeah, that was a budget item for the lunchroom chairs that were old garbage pick chairs, so they were becoming a safety hazard, so we got 8 chairs for that.
Item number, I'm sorry, Mayor.
What, just tell the page.
Page 11,
11?
treatment plant for $38,242.80. What treatment plant was that for?
Mr. Gallus, there's two.
Green's management service for the wastewater treatment plant.
I can't find the other check for,
Okay. Mayor, can I
Yes,
continue?
continue.
Page 15, the IT for $2,004.58. That we bought all the equipment for the computers, or what was that for?
I think, Mr. Murmas, you taking that one, or Brad?
That was for some backup software for the new server, some Acronis backup software, which actually may be taken back for some different software, but we would get an even exchange. That's what that is.
Okay. I have two more, Mayor.
Two more, go ahead.
Page 18, wastewater treatment plant for $169,207.20. What was that one for?
What item was that again?
Consent agenda tonight for the efficiency for the blower.
You're right.
Oh, no, it's okay.
Mayor, I
Go ahead,
think
one more.
I got one more. I believe this will be the police department, page 103.
103.
Yeah, page 103. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yes, for a bill paid to a detective for $425.92. Melly?
Chief? Where?
Yes, that was paid out of the salaries account. Detectives, in exchange for any type of standby pay, they get a $1,200 stipend per year. And she was moved into detectives midway through last fiscal year. And at that point, the paperwork wasn't done to give her the stipend. But that accounts for all on-call activities, whether it be 1 in the morning or 5 at night. That's part of their contract. So it's just being paid out of the salaries account, as it would have come out of the salaries account throughout the fiscal year anyways.
So it's coming out of last year's fiscal year account?
Chief?
Or is it coming out of this year's fiscal account?
Out of last year.
So let me ask you this question. Fiscal year, once the budget ends, May, whatever time we ended at, all accounts go down to zero. I believe the salaries go down to zero too. So how does this fall under last year's account?
Brad, you want to take that one?
Sure. The 4/30 end date for the fiscal year ends any new charges being applied, any new invoices for that. I mean, if you look through this list of bills,
I understand
you'll
that.
see probably half of them have a 4/30 pay date on there. So all of those items are attributable to last fiscal year. So anything that was purchased or services that were rendered to the city before April 30th can still be attributed to last year's fiscal year. And especially the salaries, we go through a process every year of truing up the salaries at the beginning of the year and the end of the year. Since we get paid every other week, not 15th and 30th, there's always a few days on either end of it that need to get taken care of. So just the accrual system. So hopefully the next list of bills only have a handful of invoices for last year. I mean, this has probably been done since the city, the village was formed in 1928, so nothing really new.
Okay, Mayor, I will be completed.
You're done? Okay. Well, I'll just go down the list, down the row here. Alderman Woods, and then I'll come to you and go that way.
Just one, page 22 for Trotter and Associates.
22?
Oh, yeah,
What street improvement is that? What projects is that?
Mr. Gales.
Cedar and Montrose.
Okay, that was it, thank you.
Alderman Roy Wesley, go ahead.
No. Page 3, Bertho's Nursery.
Page 3?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, sorry.
No problem.
Bertho's Nursery restoration?
Go ahead, what's the question?
For 124,
Oh, just,
I want to know what
oh,
it
you,
is.
what is, oh. Mr. Gales, go ahead.
I believe it was for some material purchase to replace some plants.
Some what?
Replace some plants, and I don't have any further information for you right now.
Okay.
For the placard.
Where is it? Where did it go? Oh, there it is.
What page?
Page 18. I see RC topsoil for 2 loads of dirt for $803. I take it as for taking care of seed and stuff? Okay. Now, I have another question. You have, on page 23, you have Watermark Hardware, 48 bags of topsoil. Are you saying, for $45.98?
Stock some bags so that for individualized areas, we have bags to throw in the truck in case, then we don't have to take a truck, and we try to get some efficiency out of having bags for smaller jobs.
Alderman
So
Wesley.
there's bulk truckloads that we keep staged at Public Works, and then there are bags for, again, for smaller jobs.
Really?
Alderman Wesley.
Wow, that's very costly that way. I'm doing it that way because you're paying for the cost of the labor for the bag and stuff and at the hardware store. And if that's the way you want to do it, that's fine, but I think it's very costly that way. I see there that you bought some Roundup there and some Weed Be Gone. Why would you purchase that way instead of buying it in a bulk container and mixing it yourself?
Mr. Galish.
An item for small use at the wastewater treatment plant that they may have used.
Could we try to share the equipment between Public Works and the wastewater? I think that was it. Thank you.
Down this way, Alderman Jacobs. Go ahead.
Mine's a more generalized question for Mr. Wilson. Some of these bills, like I see IT equipment, $3,635, that's all it says. I mean, could we get a little bit more descriptive? I mean, I asked the same questions from you prior to the meeting and from Jeff, but if it would have said software, it would be helpful. Also on the chairs, it said, you know, chair for $1,900. I asked the city manager who's getting a $1,900 chair. I mean, if we could somehow be a little bit more descriptive, that we know there's 8 chairs or 10 chairs being purchased, I think that would solve a lot of these issues.
Mr. Wilson, you want to comment?
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, we can try and add more level of detail. But, you know, just informationally, we are mitigated somewhat by a certain number of characters in the software that we can put in. And then we always try and find a level with how much information people want and don't want. So, but we can certainly beef up the descriptions on those certain ones to try and provide a little more clarity as the questions become consistent as we go on. We can certainly correct that, sure.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Let's say it. Alderman Ray
Mr. Gallus, why, you have red mulch purchased at Sherman's?
What page?
I forget. Mr. Gallus.
Shemmons?
Yes.
Let's see here. 20? Yeah, there it is.
Red mulch, $59.90.
What, was there a question, Alderman Wesley?
Yes, what's the red mulch for? Because you do know that red mulch is made out of just 2x4s painted.
Good information.
Well, it is. It's not environment friendly, and number one, it doesn't break down. Number two, it's not good for the plant if you're putting it around plants.
Mr. Gallus.
Well, there's been a practice of using that in some parts of town, so I know they were adding to what was already there. So if there's a new practice you'd like me to entertain, I can,
Why not
would
get
certainly
rid of
be
that? That'll be a
willing to
policy
do that.
decision.
Excuse me? Policy.
If we don't want any more red mulch, if you think it's a hazard to the plants, the council could change that.
I don't know if is it the council's decision? What
Alderman
color mulch
Woods?
we have?
I don't know, it seems like a question, is it harmful to the plants? If so, we probably shouldn't use it. I mean, we don't need to have a council meeting for that, do we?
No, I mean,
Could, you know, if Mr. Gillis
Can't-
could
can't
just
be
look
the-
into that and we're done.
it can't be that much. Around town that we have $59, so. It's gotta be a small spot.
True.
All right, so we need a new total. Does anybody have the new total?
Yes, the new total
Alderman
list of bills,
Sismarski, go ahead.
minus the 2 Clark Air, $1,606,233 and 54 cents.
$1,606,233.54.
Right.
54 cents.
I'll second that motion.
Oh, really?
We had a motion already. This is basically.
Amending.
This is an amendment. Who seconded the amendment?
I'm second amendment of his new figure.
You were the seconder
Yes.
originally, right? Okay. Just want to make sure that.
Yeah.
Alderman Woods, you had another question?
I just want to know if anybody else concurs with that number, Wilson or
Yes.
somebody, that we verify that.
And-
Not that I don't trust Mike.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, you don't.
I did
Oh,
not.
I'm sorry. I asked the attorney. I thought you said yes. I thought you did.
Math,
I'm sorry.
attorneys don't do math.
I'm sorry.
Unless it's
Finance
their
side.
billing.
Personally have it?
Brad?
Work have it.
Double checking, I had 35, so let me check.
Yeah.
Trying to take a buck. Work.
I had $1,606,230.54.
Now we're doing it again? Jeez. 1,606,233.54. Right, yeah. The kids in kindergarten do this better. What's the skinny here?
Go ahead.
Yeah, we'll go with Alderman Sizmarsky's number.
Pardon?
$1,606,233.54.
54?
Yahoo!
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any other questions? Roll call.
Alderman Catalano?
Yes.
Alderman Jacob?
Yes.
Alderman Lazara?
Yes.
Alderman Sizmarsky?
Yes.
Oh my God, we're celebrating. Alderman E. Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman R. Wesley?
Yes.
Alderman Winger?
Yes.
Alderman Woods?
Yes.
Oh, shit.
That passes. We did have executive session, but that's being canceled. Ms. Dixon? you-
Really?
Yes, there is, we've discussed this with the city manager, and we've determined that there is no reason to go into an executive session this evening,
Especially since the Hawks are playing. Oh, nice,
especially
thank
since the
you.
Hawks are
Make a
playing.
motion, Drew.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Move.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passed. Thank you.
And that